Hello everyone, here we are at the Norisring. Welcome to the BMW M2 Cup. We've got perfect weather, we've got all the spectators here, amazing atmosphere, and we're super psyched for the third race to start today. Obviously it's the second race weekend of the BMW M2 Cup, and before we do all the interviews with the drivers and also with this young man everybody knows probably, Bruno Spengler, we're going to have a look back at the Lausitzring to check out what happened there in the last race.
This is it then, as we get into the second season of the BMW M2 Cup. Well, despite overnight rain, wind and almost sleet, race conditions here at the Lausitzring for day one of the 2022 season of the BMW M2 Cup. So at the end of the formation lap, the lights do go out. An absolutely brilliant start from Fabian Crime. Then, of course, did all the hard work in qualifying. It's a lights to flag victory for the man that took one win last year. Race winner, Fabian Crime.
All right, so we're psyched for this race here at the Norisring to start. And there we spotted Bruno, you'll never drive alone. So even though Bruno's not in the DTM anymore, he's not forgotten here. We certainly miss you here, but we're excited that you're here this weekend because you're racing in the DTM Classic Cup. But you're also here obviously supporting the new talents in the BMW M2 Cup. So how is it being back here?
Yeah, I'm super happy to be back. I mean, even though I'm not driving in the main race, I have the banner here from my fans. It's awesome. I saw a lot of fans here. The atmosphere in Norisring is the best you can experience in racing. So I'm super happy, so thankful to the fans, so thankful to the support I have. It's awesome. So yeah, just great people here, and to be here driving in the Classic. I'm driving a great car, E36 from '98, so it's very, very special with the Schnitzer Classic team. I have actually the same chief mechanic that I had when I was a champion in 2012 with BMW Classic. It's just an awesome experience. And here, looking at the young talents in the M2 Cup, it's awesome. I'm looking forward to see this race. I think there's a lot of very good guys in there. It's a great concept that BMW puts into place. So yeah, happy to be here, and hopefully one day I can be back in a DTM car.
Oh, we're totally hoping. You were mentioning the new talents, and obviously, even though it's a long time ago, you once started with racing, and you know how important it is to have the good support as a new talent. So what do you think of this whole concept of the BMW M2 Cup?
Yeah, I think it's awesome what BMW puts into place for young drivers to learn how to race, to learn how to deal with important people like BMW, you know. So that stuff you have to learn at a very young age, because you're going to deal with it all your career with media training and things like this. So it's very, very important for these guys, and I think they have a great opportunity with the BMW M2 Cup, BMW Motorsport M2 Cup. I think it's just great. The M2 is a great car to learn. It drives on a lot of different tracks, so it's very cool.
And before I speak with the drivers, maybe one more piece of advice. You know the Norisring so well, and the walls here are so close. So what's your advice for these young guys?
Brake as late as you can and then go on power as early as you can. No, I mean, it's a tricky track. It's very bumpy. You have to know where to put the wheels. You have to know where to brake. You have to be very, very precise. It's all about precision here. With the line, be close to the walls without touching them. So there's a lot of tricks here and there. The more laps you do, the better the fuel.
All right, well, thank you so much. That's an expert. Thank you so much, and we'll see you later on. Thank you, Bruno. Have fun watching, and we're going to go over here because the man who's starting a pole position is Maxim Osten, and he's sitting in the car already, that's for sure, but we need to interrupt and ask him how he's doing. So hello there, how are you doing today?
Yeah, very good. Starting from P1, so that's always good.
Absolutely. Pole position is the best position, that's for sure. But it's going to be a tricky race because Norisring is just so challenging. So what is your main aim? I mean, obviously not kissing the walls, right?
Yeah, that's the main thing. Just keep it on track. And last year I did 2 times P2, so now it's time to get a P1.
All right. right, well, that sounds very promising. Best of luck for the race then. Always, always optimistic, always positive, of course. And in being in pole position, that obviously is also absolutely possible. And now the man who's definitely going to push really hard, though, is Tom Nittel, who's starting in P2. And surely he's going to do everything to make Maxime's life and everybody else's life very difficult. So hello there, Tom. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm very fine with the starting position today, so let's see what is possible.
Well, one thing is for sure, Maxime is starting in pole and he's aiming for victory. So what are you going to do to make his life difficult?
I try everything to go on P1, so let's see. Yes.
But Norisring, we all know, is tricky and it's really, really tough on the brakes. So how is that going to be? What's your concept there?
Yes, the brakes are one of the important things here in Norisring, so no high pressures and try to save the brakes.
All right, but you seem very confident, you seem very chilled, so I will let you get back to it. Thank you so much, Tom. Best of luck. And it's amazing, I mean, think about it. These guys are just all so young, and a lot of them are really still very unexperienced, and yet they're so cool in handling the media and everything and the pressure. I think it's, every time I see them, I think it's absolutely exciting to see how cool these guys are. And one guy who's always very cool also is Fabian Kreim. Hello there.
Hello.
It's hot in your car.
Oh, quite hot, really hot.
What are we going to expect? Something like 70 degrees in the cockpit, maybe?
Yeah, I think something like that.
So are you a fan of sauna?
I like sauna, but not in the car.
All right, but obviously it's part of the deal, and we're excited that because yesterday we had terrible weather conditions here, so I guess it being sunny and dry is always good for the race.
Yeah, for sure. It will be a very, very hot race, especially for the brakes and for the tires. But yeah, we are looking really forward.
And also from your position, P3, I mean, you've got Tom and Maxime in front of you, and I mean, it's so hard to overtake here, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, try to do no mistake and hope that the guys in front do a mistake and then try to overtake them.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you so much. Best of luck for the race. And I'm going to try with one hand to close this. I can't, but then surely Christine will help me here. So thank you for that. And yeah, so we're very psyched to get racing here in just a bit. So everybody fasten your seatbelts and do enjoy this race. And now here's your commentator.
Verena, a very, very fierce but excellent reporter down there presenting our BMW M2 Cup here at the Norisring, where Fabian Kreim perhaps arguably didn't get the best out of the cars during qualifying. Of course, he comes here on the back of 2 wins at the Norisring as we look at Bart Horsten. And welcome to the BMW M2 Cup. What a fantastic cup this is, and as Verena has indicated, littered with young talents, all of whom are on a planned trajectory, potentially dependent upon what they're able to do, of course, their results in terms of making their way in motorsport. And, of course, Lewis Ankerfand, who took the victory in the BMW M2 Cup last year, is racing in the DTM Trophy. So, too, is Colin Carasani, a race winner in the DTM Trophy. So, a very real opportunity for these young stars to make their way in motorsport. As we look at Aaron Venish, then, in final stages of preparation ahead of this race. And Fabian Kreim was saying how hot it is inside the car. You should come into my commentary studio, I tell you. That really is a sauna. Alessia Kreuzpointner, one of the 2 Kreuzpointners on the grid, Alessia and Jacqueline as well. Delighted to see them here. We are 3 minutes away from the start of the BMW M2 Cup, getting underway at the Norisring. Really challenging 2.3 kilometres for all of these drivers. The number 11 car that we can see there is Sean Fuster. Sean is one of the most likeable young men, and Sean, who his best results so far came in race 2 at Norisring, where he put it into P5. He is a talent to be watched, is young Sean Fuster. Look out for him, a name that is going to go places, I don't doubt, as is Jarno Dahl. In the number 14 car, although he is going from the very back of the pack. So he's got a lot of overtaking to do during the course of this race. Well, we really are at the sharp end of all the action then, as you can see, as we go into the starter's position. And now you can see the lights the gantry and the grandstands, which are full here at Norisring. It's always a fantastic atmosphere here. We're just a few kilometres from the city centre of Nuremberg, and it's a brilliant place for the BMW M2 Cup stars to race. It is absolutely wonderful here. And they're enjoying the sunshine and about to enjoy the fantastic race action with Maxime Oosten, of course, having done the job and put it on pole position. Alongside Maxime Oosten is Tom Nittel, and then it's Fabian Kreim and Mark David Muller ahead of Leonard Hugenboom. What a sight that is as we look at the assembled grid. What a success story the BMW M2 Cup is. First season last year, it was a phenomenal season, and now we are 60 seconds away from getting the race underway. And please hold on to any loose clothing you may have, because it's a real challenge here at the Norisring. And a big thanks to my technical engineers that work with me here in this sauna, which is the commentary studio, who are just making some final adjustments to the technology in here as well. What I've not been able to do is fill it with an ice pack, which is regrettable. We'll be bringing you the grid in full then when the cars are on their formation lap. Of course we will, and we are 30 seconds away from that. We'd love you to join us on social media as well on the BMW M2 Cup. Myself here being able to bring you the English language comms for the race, and from a German language point of view, my colleague is right next door, and he does a great job also, and we both have a huge affinity and enthusiasm for this brilliant racing series. So the cars standing by, ready to go. And now they are given the greens, and away goes Maxime Oosten then, and Tom Nittel alongside. And you'll see the drivers weave from side to side to try and generate as much temperature into the tyres as they possibly can. It is only the second event in this year's calendar of BMW M2 Cup. From here we head off to the Nürburgring, then the long tarmac of Spa-Francorchamps ahead of the Red Bull Ring, and of course the final to come in Hockenheim. Race weekend consists of a 45-minute free practice session, then a 35-minute quali, and the grid is set. And here it is, Maxime Oosten from Tom Nittel ahead of Fabian Kreim and Mark David Muller. Leonard Hugenboom and Michael Makesh, they are P5 and P6. Robert Heffler and Lorenz Stegman with Jan Matthias and Jacqueline Kreutzbeutner, just besting sister, to take P10. So the first 5 rows of the grid for the BMW M2 Cup starting grid here at Norisring. Bart Horsten goes from P11 with Diego Stifter, P12. Aaron Venish and Alexia Kreuzpointner, they are P13 and P14. With Sean Fuster and Jarno Dow, they're on the final row of the grid. And please expect some overtaking to come from those two young stars as well. So cars weaving from side to side. I was explaining how qualifying is set. Race 1 grid is set from the best lap during the 35-minute qualifying session. Race 2 is set from the second best lap from the qualifying session, and then 2 30-minute plus 1 lap races to come across the course of the weekend, this being the first one of them. Wow, absolutely throwing the car sideways. Lorenz Stegman then in a quest to get some and generate some temperature into the rear tyres. My goodness me, that was a real power slide moment. Really loving it. So they have to be millimetrically perfect into their grid boxes, and it's all part of the learning curve that these drivers are going through with the BMW M2 Cup. I have to say, the team look after them so well from every angle and from every aspect, whether that be from racecraft. David Kolkman doing a great job in terms of coaching these drivers, and but it's not only the racecraft, it's other things as well, like how to work with the media, how to look after and maintain your physical fitness, nutrition. All of these things are taken care of. BMW doing a brilliant job, and the team here with the M2 Cup doing a brilliant job, as we see the number 14 car of Jarno Dow perfectly into his grid box. Now, let's get excited. We have all the red lights are on, and the lights go out. Let's go racing. We have a green flag, and expect plenty of overtaking to come during the next 30 minutes. Wow, the race is underway then. heading around this Norisring circuit, then going into turn number 1, the Grundig turn. Well, you can expect 1 or 2 drivers to try around the outside, but that unforgiving concrete wall comes around really, really quickly. Great start from the drivers then. Big battle going on between Tom Nittel and Fabian Krime, of course, who comes here as a 2-time race winner. He would love to make it 3 in a row, but he's got the cars of Tom Nittel and Maxime Oostin to try and find a way by first. As for the first time of asking, they make their way through the Scholler-Essies, the chicane. Norisring is basically 2 straights with 2 hairpins and a chicane in the middle. And we're on the Zeppelinstrasse now as we watch the number 15 car of Alessia Kreutzpointner already making moves up the order. So the race is being led by Maxime Oostin from Tom Nittel and Fabian Krime. There you can see big battle going on between the cars of Jacqueline Kreutzpointner and Mikhail Makesh as well. So first lap in the book then, and the order is being led by Maxime Oostin then. Who's that having a dive on the inside here? Going into the Grundig turn. Racing room is left. Good racecraft from all the drivers in terms of respecting each other. It's something else which is taught and learned by these young talents who are exhibiting that absolutely perfectly. So we let the first couple of laps get underway. Good move there from the number 25 car of Diego Stifter, all yellow. Now, the other real feature of the BMW M2 Cup is, of course, that the drivers, until they get to the race weekend, do not know which car they will be driving, because the cars are swapped around during the course of the season, so no one driver can suggest that he has an advantageous car because they are all changed around. Heffler and Makesh having a battle then in the number 53 and 47 cars, and the second lap is put into the book. This is brilliant stuff. Now you can see a real battle going on here from Bart Horstman on Lawrence Stegman, and that's a little bit further down the order. It's for P10 and P11. And we go almost 3 abreast, all the way around the outside. Lawrence Stegman, it's a long way around the outside. And racing room is left, though, for Lawrence Stegman, who does not clatter into the wall. So great driving indeed. And there you can see, still very much involved in this battle is Horsten and Stegman. They are side by side. The Scholler-Essies then the chicane here at the Norisring, and the all-yellow number 15 car of Alessia Kreutzpointner. She's driving that car this weekend, and as I mentioned, the cars are swapped from event to event. So really clean and tidy and very exciting racing coming from our young talents then in the BMW M2 Cup thus far here at the Norisring. Certainly don't want to put the commentator's curse on it, but Horsten leading Stegman at the moment. Stegman is trying to have a go. Then the number 15 car of Alessia Kreutzpointner and Jarno Dow together there. Jarno Dow has made the best progress, if you will, from the very, very back of the pack, doing a good job. And the order is Maxime Oostin from Tom Nittel and Fabian Krime. Then it's Leonard Hugenboom and then Mark David Muller ahead of Mikhail Makesh. Then it's Hefter, Stifter, Kreutzpointner and Horsten rounding out the top 10. So through the chicane, you get so close to the Armco barriers on the exit on the inside, and then of course it throws you onto that paved area with that very, very unforgiving concrete wall. However, all the drivers are coping with it perfectly, and I have to say this is some exceptional clean racing. Let's look at the start once again. So as the lights went out then, it was a brilliant start actually from all the drivers. No one bogging down whatsoever, all getting away really, really nicely. And then going into turn number 1, you go through this kink first of all, and then it's all into this hairpin, which can be the scene of lots and lots of carnage. However, from these young drivers in the BMW M2 Cup, as you can see, we run it super slow-mo. I don't think a panel was touched by anyone. Well, maybe just a little. Brilliant racing. So now the top 2 are breaking away a little bit from Fabian Krime. So it's Maxime Oostin from Tom Nittel and Fabian Krime. Then it's Leonard Hugenboom. And then it's Muller, Makesh, Heffler, Stifter and Jacqueline Kreutzpointner running P9 with Bart Horsten then running in P10 at the moment. So that's the way it looks. There is the number 43 car of Fabian Krime. And there, the number 47 car being chased by Heffler at the moment. And that is for the P7 position. Oh, and a round has gone. The number 5 car of Matthias gets it pointing right in the correct direction again. Let's see what happened here. So, diving up the inside was Aaron Venish, and inevitably something of an assist on the number 5 car of Matthias, who has really no alternative but to go around and then give us a donut as he tries to get the car pointing in the right direction again. You can see damage on the car of Aaron Venish then, and it will be something of a learning curve for Aaron Venish, who has to bring the car into the pit lane. Maxime Houston leading by 8/10, as you can see, over Tom Nittel. Then it's Fabian Crime, then it's Leonard Hugenboom, who occupies the P4 position at the moment. Now, coming under some pressure here is Jacqueline Kreutzpoint, and now as Horsham tries to come back, as you can see, right in the wheel tracks here. This is the fight that's going on for P9. And as they head into the Grundig turn, once again, dives to the inside. Now, if you can get the car rotated, racing room is left by Jacqueline Kreutzpoint. Very, very fair driving. Could have been much more defensive than that, but choosing not to do that, choosing to be utterly fair about it. So we see the P9 position now occupied by the number 50 car of Horston. So, Houston, Nittel, Crime, and Hugenboom, they are the top 4. And through the turns they go. You cannot take your eyes away from the action for one moment as the number 99 car of Lawrence Stegman goes side by side with Jarno Dow. Jarno Dow is on something of a mission. Now, bear in mind, he started right from the back of the pack. Jarno Dow is really making progress here. However, he needs to be able to close the door on the number 99 car of Lawrence Stegman. And around the outside of the Grundig turn is not the optimum place to be. Oh, and he's just squeezed out by Stegman. Brilliant racing between the two of them. Absolutely fantastic to watch. So Stegman is running in P11, Jarno Dow running in P12. And Dow doubtless will have another go. In the meantime, Stegman, of course, is lining up the Jacqueline Kreutzpoint in the car ahead. Meantime, Maxime Houston is just stretching his legs a little bit. It's a 1.28 second gap that he's got now over Tom Nittel and Fabian Crime. The top 3 having broken away a bit from Leonard Hugenboom. Then the rest of the pack come through, and lots of fights going on throughout the pack as you look at it. First 8 minutes of the race are done. Let's take a look at this in replay. It was a really brave opportunity, but this is where unfortunately there was no question about it, because Jarno Dow had to move out of that move, otherwise he would have been in the Armco. We've lost, of course, Aaron Venish. We saw him involved in a situation on the chicane, and unfortunately that has damaged the car. Is Fabian Crime just beginning to reel in Tom Nittel now? I wonder. Leonard Hugenboom is showing clean pair of heels to Muller at the moment. Then it's Marquesh and Hefter. Stifter, then the P9 and P10 places held by Horston and Jacqueline Kreutzpointner at the moment, although Jacqueline Kreutzpointner is under real pressure now and having to really, really defend. So, here comes Fabian Crime. I did say I think he's reeling Tom Nittel in here. So, where can Fabian Crime try and make it into P2? He tries to get the car rotated. You could see how the car was just looking a little bit skittish under braking as he carried so much speed into that turn. That, for the benefit of Tom Nittel, for the moment means he can breathe a sigh of relief, but Fabian Crime is certainly looking very, very lively. Now, the incident involving cars number 12 and 5 is going to be looked into. That was the Aaron Venish and Matthias incident that I was talking about just a couple of moments ago. It's going to be investigated after the race. So off the tarmac and onto that paved area, of course, here at the Norisring, these are public roads, get closed only once a year for the benefit of this fantastic race. Jarno Dow now really pressuring Jacqueline Kreutzpoint. Now, this is for P11. Stegman, of course, ahead of Jacqueline Kreutzpoint. We saw the overtake, and now is Jacqueline going to suffer at the hands of the hard-charging Jarno Dow. Sean Fuster is up to P14. And as we pick the cars up now, just taking a look at the inside of Jacqueline Kreutzpointner, which becomes the outside for the next turn. You've got to have real. Now, the trajectory, though, might be right if he can slip to the inside now. Jacqueline, though, as is her right, defends the position and makes her BMW M2 Cup car a tad wider than it really is by metaphorically sticking her elbows out through the chicane, and perfectly entitled to do that, has track position and can defend. So that makes it even harder, and of course Yano Dow is taking so much out of the tyres, whereas Jacqueline can be altogether smoother and just more committed to every turn and making every turn count, whereas it is the number 14 car of Yano Dow who really is having to play the aggressive game here and try and harry Jacqueline Kreutzpointner ahead. What he's trying to do, of course, is to provoke something of a mistake, but that ain't happening at the moment. Marques is under some pressure as well. And here again through the Grundig turn. Now he'll try and get to the inside, but he doesn't quite have the momentum. Jacqueline Kreutzpointner has good traction out of that and into the chicane. That gives her a perfect line through there. There is Marques, who we follow as well in the number 47 car, who is being chased down by the number 53 of Heffler. And it's almost a carbon copy of the situation we were watching with Yano Dow and Jacqueline Kreutzpointner, which we pick up right now. There is Jacqueline Kreutzpointner, there is Yano Dow. So in replay, this is how close we get. That is barely the width of a piece of paper between the two cars. Very clean and tidy, to be fair, because there was no contact there. Maxime Houston really has got the pace, and as you can see from the graphics on the left-hand side of his screen, has opened up a very nearly 2-second gap. Now, the number 99 car is driven by Stegman, the number 25 car, driven by Stifter. So Stegman having done a good job in getting by the all-yellow car of Diego Stifter. So there, out on his own, is Horston. Bart doing a good job running in this P8 position. Top three, Houston, Nittel and Crime have not changed. The margin, though, between Nittel and Crime is but 8/10. However, and here we can see again, this battle has really been raging between these two as Heffler then tries to find a way past Marques, but again, like Jacqueline Kreutzpointner, Marques doing a very, very good job in defending here and just placing the BMW M2 Cup car to make sure that any advance and any attack that comes from the car behind is thwarted. Doing a very good job, and that, of course, is all part of the racecraft that is being taught to these young talents in terms of not only being able to attack, but also to defend your track position as well when perhaps arguably the driver and car combo behind you is perhaps quicker. It's all very well being quicker. You've got to find a way by, and at the moment Marques has been able to prevent Heffler from coming through. Heffler all the way around the outside, then just taking more out of his tyres, and you can see he gets very, very sideways there. Very good racing room is left by Marques. So we continue. My goodness me, very nearly half the race is already done. What a race it's been from the BMW M2 Cup here. We are live from the Norisring, this fantastic street circuit, and now trying just to show his face to the inside, trying to just unsettle the Marques car. Break concentration just for a moment. And this was the attempt all the way around the outside. And there you can see the back end of the car stepping out because you're running onto a piece of the tarmac which affords less grip than the racing line. So onto the paved area, which the drivers were very much avoiding yesterday when the weather conditions, and it's almost unbelievable how the weather has changed from one day to the next, because yesterday rain, track very, very rarely not damp in any way, shape or form at all. And they're running today, of course, absolutely in the dry. Now, what can and where can Heffler have a go? I mean, he's tried almost everywhere, and he's just desperate for Marques ahead to try, just to make a mistake and just break concentration for a millisecond. That's all he needs, but fair play. It's brilliant defending by Marques, who is just denying Heffler, and Heffler will be getting frustrated, and that's part of the plan here in terms of defensive driving. Just don't yield to the pressure that's being mounted by the car behind. They've got to find a way around, and at the moment has been unable to do so. So here we go down the Zeppelinstrasse then. Let's see, there's the little kink. What he's trying to do here is encourage Michael Marques to be not quite so tight to the apex of that turn so that he can get to the inside, and this time I think he's done it. So if he can maintain the traction and keep the momentum, but can Marques just get ahead so that he's able to close the door? This is going to be a potential overtake going into the Grundig turn as we stay with this. This is the battle for P6 in the race, and brilliant driving by Marques, who did manage to close the door. And that was the best opportunity that Heffler has had, and he was denied in the end. Phenomenal racing between the two of them, and this is the argument that is going on and the fight that's raging for P6 in the race. So, heck for leather they go through the chicane, and again, Heffler is going to try and get to the inside, but again, Marques is able to right royally close the door and say, no way, friend, you're not coming through here. Or big dig deep and through the turn. That was disadvantageous for Heffler. So for the moment, Marques is just going to be able to just take a breath because he has now gapped Heffler a little bit. Absolutely phenomenal racing. Whilst all that is going on, let's take a look at it in replay here. I mean, that is really, really close, but absolutely, totally fair racing. Just a small adjustment on the rear view mirror that's mounted on the door, which will aid parking in the shopping centre, potentially, but won't do anything for advantage in the race. So, Tom Nittel has also resisted all the efforts of Fabian Crime to try and be on terms here. Fabian Crime has tried and pushed very, very hard, but I just wonder whether this is a clever game being played here by Fabian Crime, who of course is very, very used to winning in the BMW M2 Cup. Took a victory last year and has taken 2 victories this year in the opening 2 races at the Lausitzring, and I just wonder whether he is just trying to lull Tom Nittel into a false sense of security and ready to pounce like a viper come the end of the race. But that strategy is all very well, but barring some huge error from Maxime Ooston, he's never going to be able to get on terms with the race leader, who is now 3.4 seconds up the road on these two who are fighting over the P2 position at the moment. Tom Nittel, who took P3 in race 1 at the Lausitzring and a P7 in race 2, is currently P2. And Fabian Crime, of course, victorious in both of those races. Maxime Ooston, he took a P2 at Lausitzring and then a torrid time of it in race 2 at the Lausitzring, where he finished P8. So, P2 and P3, we watch the back end of their BMW M2 Cup cars crossing the timing line here. And this is our race leader. Apologies, we haven't seen too much of him. The reason for that is there's been so many other fights going on throughout the race. And, of course, we're more interested in bringing you the action than the fact that Maxime Ooston is just, I'm not going to say he's cruising around at the front, but he's certainly built himself a nice margin where he's not being bothered by neither Tom Nittel or Fabian Crime at the moment. And additionally, those two have broken away significantly from Leonard Hugenboom, who's running P4, ahead of Mark-David Muller in P5. In replay, use the opposite lock, slide the back end of the car, make it look really attractive to us as viewers. And it's not necessarily the quickest way, but Maxime Ooston has got time aplenty in hand. And this fight between these two continues. We were watching this earlier, and it is Marques and Heffler, and what a fight that has been. And finally, Heffler is able to go through in the number 53 car. It has taken some time to do that, so it's P6 now for Heffler and P7 for Marques. So the number 47 and 50 car of Horsten and Marques continue their fight as well. And Maxime Ooston leading now by, well, actually the lead has dropped a little bit, and that'll be because of the Ken Block-like sideways moment into the, very nearly into the barriers that we saw just a couple of moments ago. So the number 50 car of Horsten that we look at there, centre shot. And to be fair, Heffler is breaking away a little bit from Marques. And you can see there could be some accusations that Marques is something of a cork in a bottle here, because two cars lined up behind now, which is Horsten and Lawrence Stegman. We've already seen how lively Lawrence Stegman is. We've got just under 10 minutes plus 1 lap of the race remaining, so still very much the potential that positions could change before we get to the end of the race. But again, it is really, as Bruno Spengler was saying right at the start of the program, and he, I know, is a huge fan of the BMW M2 car, and loves the fact that these drivers are really being tutored and nurtured in their racing careers. A huge fan of it he is, and quite rightly so. And he was saying it is really difficult to overtake it here at Norisring. In fact, almost the only way you can overtake or make an overtake is to provoke a mistake from the driver ahead. And of course, that's what all these drivers are doing, but credit to all those that are defending, because they're defending really well, really fairly. And when they have the track position, it's absolutely their right to do so. So another lap is put into the book then here at the Norisring. 2 races this weekend. And there is Marques in P7, and the number 50 car that you can see of Bart Horsten, who has tried absolutely everything. And, of course, also has Lawrence Stegman right up his trumpet now, as Stegman has to use a little bit of opposite lock to control the wayward back end of the number 99 car, but controlled it really rather well. Should bear in mind that as we get into the final 10 minutes of this race, of course, the drivers will have taken a lot out of the tyres, which means the grip that was afforded to them right at the start of the race is certainly not going to be there in the final stages of the race. Therefore, the cars are going to slide around a bit more. Now, that could mean that actually provoking a mistake becomes a little bit easier. But it also means that you may not have the rubber available to you to take advantage of said mistake that you are trying to provoke from the car that you're trying to get past. And that proven to be the case at the moment between these two. So the number 27 car of Leonard Hugenboom, we could just see in shot there before we get back to this battle. And now on the inside, well, I think Horsten has done enough now. It was opportunistic, dive to the inside, and then relegates Marques. So it is number 50 now ahead of the Marques car. So the P7 place changes, and that came after, well, I couldn't count how many laps he tried to do that, but eventually all the persistence did pay off, and he was able to make the move count. Now, Leonard Hugenboom is under some pressure now from Mark David Muller here in the all-blue number 22 car, and do bear in mind, it got Heffler right behind as well, so it becomes something of a three-way fight going on. Just a little love tap between the two of them, nothing malicious in that. Rubbing is racing. And from our point of view, we're happy for that, because it does it again. Just to let you know I'm here, friend. I have to say the camaraderie among all the drivers is fantastic. So Leonard Hugenboom then in the number 27 car, under some pressure from these two behind, and as I said, it is something of a three-way fight for P4 that is going on. And what do we got? Just over 6 minutes plus a lap remaining in this awesome race. And wherever we have looked, there have been fights going on. And Fabian Krein has just not had the legs to be able to take it to Tom Nittel, neither of whom have been able to take it to Maxime Houston, who, of course, has had a clear track ahead of him, has been able to nail every apex and just make every rotation count. That's why he is 4 3/4 seconds up the road, having done an awesome job. It's a really, really impressive drive from Maxime Houston, to be fair. Good drive from these two as well, and I'm really, really impressed with Tom Nittel, who's just taken it all in his stride and hasn't been at all fussed by the fact that Fabian Krein, two-time race winner this season, has really, really pushed him. And talking of pushing just a little bit, you can see there a bold move to the inside from Heffler, but he yielded and took his foot off the loud pedal so that no contact was made, which is exactly the right thing to have done at that stage. So to bring you up to speed with the order, the top 10, Maxime Houston, Tom Nittel, Fabian Krein are the top 3. Then it's Leonard Hugenboom, Mark David Muller. Then it is Heffler, Horsten, Marques, Stegman and Jarno Dahl into the top 10. Norisring started right at the back of the pack. So good driving from Jarno Douw. Big mention to Sean Fuster as well, who's only one place behind and in at P11 place. So here, this is Marques and Lorenz Stegman. Lorenz now with 4.5 minutes remaining to try and unseat the car of Marques. And just to repeat what I said at the start of our program, that all the drivers, until they arrive at the race weekend, do not know which of the M2 Cup cars they will be driving. The cars are rotated throughout the drivers over the course of each race event to ensure that there's absolute parity between every driver. And as I say, they don't know which car that they will be driving till they get here. So no one can be accused of having a car which is performing slightly better in some way than any others. And actually, it also means that the drivers have to really, really hone their skills and be on the top of their game. So Lorenz Stegman then, who is currently running P9, trying to find a way by the car of Michael Marques, who is currently running P8. I have to say, Michael has had to spend pretty much all of the race in a defensive mode, and he's executed it really, really well. Has remained pacey and has defended and defended. You just see in the background there the Jarno Douw car coming into the shot and being closely pursued by Sean Fuster, Swiss-based driver. All young talents, of course, in the BMW M2 Cup. And this is Fabian Crime, just giving a little kiss to the concrete. And there, from that camera angle, well, it was perhaps a bigger kiss than we expected. And certainly saw from the back. And that's Jacqueline Kreutzpointner out. So something has happened to the car of Jacqueline Kreutzpointner. That's a great shame, because she had done a brilliant job earlier on in the race, really, really defending very, very hard, but very fairly. And Jacqueline Kreutzpointner, another one of the stars of the future, no question about that. And unfortunately, though, for this race, it would appear it is going to be a retirement. So Jacqueline has put the car into a position of safety, indicated right as you can see, and has parked the car. Well, this man has parked the car 5.8 seconds to the good over Tom Nittel and Fabian Crime. In fact, Tom Nittel has just taken a little bit of time back out of Maxime Ouston, but Maxime is in a position of absolute comfort here in P1 and is not going to be troubled, barring disaster, over the remaining 2 minutes plus a lap, which means we're going to get at least 3, maybe even 4 laps in before the end of this race. And wow, still positions changing. This is for P5 as Heffler goes through on Mark David Muller. So well done to our team for picking up on that overtake, which I'd not seen coming. So the 53 car now ahead of 22 through the Cholereses. Is that going to just play into the hands potentially of the number 50 car of Bart Horston? Will he be able to... and there's Jacqueline Kreutzpointner out of the car, clearly disappointed. A great shame. She is such an ambassador for the BMW M2 Cup in terms of the talent between all of our cars. And let's see. Well, to be fair, she was squeezed somewhat by Diego Stifter. That caused damage to the car, and Jacqueline deciding discretion the better part of valor and park the car up. So that's what we saw with, well, doubtless Diego Stifter will be investigated for that. And great shame for Jacqueline Kreutzpointner, who will not be able to finish this race. Meantime, this is the fight for P2. Fabian Crime, of course, knows he's going to be on the podium if everything stays the way it is, but it's P3, and he would far rather have P2. So Maxime Ouston crosses the line and starts the penultimate lap, I would suggest. And here comes Tom Nittel and Fabian Crime. The gap between Nittel and Crime, let's give it to you in absolute accuracy. It's 4/10 between P2 and P3, and a long, long time before we wait to see Leonard Hugenboom come into shot. That's how far up the road they are. Very nearly 13 seconds from Leonard Hugenboom. Then it is Heffler ahead of Mark David Muller, and then Bart, is behind in the number 50 car, Horston. And there's the number 14 car currently running in P10. That's Jano Dow. And then Sean Fuster, who is P11. Again, Jano Dow and Sean Fuster having started right from the back of the pack. And now, here we can see Maxime Houston crossing the line, and he will start the final lap. Because it is 30 minutes plus a lap for our BMW M2 Cup drivers. It's been a class display by Maxime Houston, whose best result coming into this was the P2 he took in the opening race of the season this year at the Norisring. He's going to go one better than that, barring disaster over the remaining kilometre and a half of this really, really challenging street circuit here at Norisring, just outside the city centre of Nuremberg. Maxime Houston has got one hairpin to do. Big slide from Tom Nittel as Fabian Crime continues to chase, but I think Tom Nittel has got enough in hand to be able to not be caught by Fabian Crime. And for Maxime Houston then, flashing his lights in celebration as he heads towards the checkered flag and the timing line. Race winner Maxime Houston. He takes P1, and it's going to be Tom Nittel P2 and Fabian Crime P3. Then, then all manner of things going on behind. Brilliant to watch. They've provided brilliant entertainment. Oh, drag race across the line. But it is Hugenboom that takes P4 from Heffler P5. Then it's Muller P6. Oshman P7, then it is Marquez, then it is Lawrence Stegman, then it is Jano Dow. They round out the top 10. Wow, what a race. Really, really enjoyable, and credit to all our young talented drivers for delivering an awesome race. Now, if you can race so clean and so tidily around a track that really, really lends itself to you having to be really, really aggressive and physical, they all have a fine career ahead of them. Brilliant stuff. And loving the fact that the marshals are all saluting these young stars with all the flags waving, adding a spectacle of colour to the BMW M2 Cup, race 1 of 2 for this weekend. Well done indeed. Here's confirmation of the result then. Maxime Houston taking the win. And Tom Nittel P2, Fabian Crime P3, Leonard Hugenboom P4. Then it was Heffler, Muller, Horston, Marquez, Stegman. They're rounding out up to P9 with Jano Dow from the back of the pack, closing out the top 10. So that is the first page of the results then. And here's the second page. Another good drive from Sean Fuster from the back of the pack to make it into P11. Alessia Kreuzpointner was P12. Then it's Mathias P3. Diego Stifter P14. And regrettably, we lost the likes of Jacqueline Kreuzpointner and Aaron Venish. Two completely separate incidents, but incidents that are going to be looked at by race control. Congratulations being afforded then down there. Now, I don't know if I've told you this before in a previous program, but Maxime Houston is about 7'12". He's massive. A really, really likeable young man, but he is a big fella. However, that hasn't prevented him from taking his first win. And Tom Nittel being congratulated by Christian Goebel then, the manager of the BMW M2 Cup then. Super Slow-Mo's top 3, Fabian Crime then P3. Tom Nittel, he banks P2 in the number 7 car. And Maxime Houston is the race winner. So it's a P2, a P8 and a race win from Maxime Houston, who we hear from now because he's with Verena.
And I'm here with a very happy man, Maxime Houston. Congratulations, your first victory here. So how does it feel? How excited are you?
Amazing. Best race I've had here. Last year I made a mistake and that cost me P1. and now everything was perfect, so super happy.
And you had a huge gap, so it was impossible to actually come close to you. So that was perfect. And I said to you, you're not even sweaty, and you said it's because it's only been half an hour.
Yeah, it was perfect. Everything went well. I was consistent, could keep up with the pace, and yeah, it was very good.
You did a great job. Thank you so much. Enjoy it up there on the podium. And I'm going to get Fabian Kreim here as well. So congratulations to you as well. Fighting so hard, but I guess there was no chance to even overtake. I mean, you're kind of waiting for a mistake for one of the drivers to make, but you were trying your best. And you're happy with the P3 nonetheless?
Yeah, for sure. On the podium, it's always a quite good feeling. But to be honest, I think the pace was a little bit faster than Tom, and yeah, but he did no mistake, so it's very difficult to overtake here. But at the end, yeah, quite happy, and very, very important points for the championship.
Absolutely, and you're leading the championship, so I mean, obviously expanding it there is always good. But how tough was it? It was only half an hour, but still, I mean, it's a tough track, right?
Yeah, it's always tough, especially in these conditions, for sure. I think the most problem was the brakes. In the middle of the race, I lost a little bit of brakes because they was quite hot. But at the end, it came back, and the feeling was much better at the end. But yeah, it's very hard in these conditions.
But you did a great job. Thank you very much. Enjoy it up there on the podium. Tom Nutell, I think, is already upstairs, so back to the commentator for now.
Thank you very much, Verena. Well done for catching up with Maxime. And also with the very happy with his result, Fabian Kreim. Of course, Fabian with the view of the, of course, of the points and the situation, how it looks. And, of course, he's going to bank those points, and very valuable points in P3 when it comes to the end of the season. Let's see where we're at then, but much more racing to come before the end of the season, before we even start thinking about that. So some of the spectators that have been treated to a fantastic race in the BMW M2 Cup, they're supporting the marshals, who, of course, do a brilliant job. We race here at the Norisring as round 2 of our BMW M2 Cup. We started at the Lausitzring, of course, in May. Next, we head off to the Nürburgring, then it's Spa-Francorchamps in September, then the Red Bull Ring also in September, and Hockenheim as well in October. We'd love you to be part of the big social media family, which is part of the BMW M2 Cup. If you do a search on the BMW M2 Cup on whatever search engine you prefer, you'll be able to find out all the social media, and we would love you to be very much part of it. So please do that and follow the trials, the tribulations, and the great racing that comes from the BMW M2 Cup. Drivers then preparing themselves ahead of the podium. Now, I did tell you he's a big guy, didn't I? But very, very likeable and really approachable. If you're actually live at the Norisring this weekend and you're watching this on one of your portable devices, then I urge you to go and find Maxime Oosten in the paddock area. He will be delighted, as indeed would all the drivers, to give you an autograph and photo and stuff. They're great drivers, and hugely excellent representatives of the BMW M2 Cup. Here comes the podium then, and there you can see to the top step goes our race winner. National anthem time. So as the anthem fades out, then it is time for the trophy presentations to be made as Maxime returns his race-winning baseball cap on. From representing the technical organisation of the BMW M2 Cup is Tobias Meyer. Fine man he is, making the P3 presentation to Fabian Kreim. Now, the organisation head, Jörg Michaelis, will make the P2 trophy presentation, and that, of course, goes to Tom Nittell. So well done, Jörg, and well done to you and your team for all the hard work you do. And we're delighted to welcome Björn Lelliman here from BMW, who will make the race-winning presentation to Maxime Osten then. So big thanks to Björn Lelliman representing BMW. Maxime then making the most of his height, very similar to Tom Nittell, as they try and get in frame for the photographs of our BMW M2 Cup Race 1 here at Norisring across the weekend. So there we have it then, as the champagne shower soaks those drivers up there on the podium. Well done once again to Fabian Kreim, to Tom Nittell, and also to Maxime Osten. But I want to say a big well done to all the drivers, because you provided some fantastic race action for us, from myself and from Verena as well. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you join us for race 2. Goodbye.